Two of Autumn under the deck. Okay, so we have Major Arcana energy here for you, Leo. The Renewal card, the Prince of Winter here in the center, and the Six of Summer. Possibly an air sign involved here in the center with that Prince of Winter, but not necessarily. And possibly someone from the past returning. Maybe an air sign. Sun, Moon, or Rising. And then we have the Renewal card. Again, Major Arcana energy right here in the beginning of this time period. So you're either going into this time period with a sense of kind of life review, going back over old ground, wondering sort of how you got to where you are, where you want to go in the future. But the more that you can do that with a very loving eye, with a compassionate sense of I've done the best I can always, it will be more beneficial to you, because when the Renewal card comes in, it really is meant to be an energy that is more from sort of the divine, almost like how a judgment from the place of unconditional love, as opposed to judgment as from your ego, where it's like you're never good enough for the ego. But because it's Major Arcana energy, you're probably going to feel it more as just kind of a reflective place that you've either been in or going into during this time period. And we're talking about a relatively short period of time, Leo. But these Major Arcana energies tend to linger around a bit longer. Okay, so love and romance, Leo. And remember, if guilt and shame kind of come in, have you been dealing with that in some way as you kind of do this life review? Recognize them for what they are, but also, you know, let the guilt and shame know that that's not really the energy that you're looking for right now. And you can appreciate that it's coming in, but that you are looking to shift out of guilt and shame and into a more loving, compassionate place. And I did a video on guilt and shame, and just for many of you who may not consider it in this way, in archetypal psychology, we kind of look at guilt and shame in a different way. We look at it as an energetic pattern. Guilt coming from the matriarchy, from the maternal line, and shame coming from the patriarchy, from the paternal line. So you can kind of consider that within your own life, Leo, and see if any of that holds true. And if you realize that you feel guilty because of something that a mother influence, maternal influence may have done, you know, we usually feel guilty for our actions, whereas with shame, we tend to feel shame from our core, like we feel shameful for just our very existence, and that's often kind of passed down through the maternal or through the paternal line. Just something to consider and to recognize them. You know, the more conscious you can be of these things, the more easily we are able to heal them and transform them. All right, so the Passion card, flip right up. Love that card. Yeah, love and romance. Flirt and separation and new love under the deck. Okay, show you the cards as I see them, Leo. We have passion, we have flirt, and we have separation here. And I'm kind of feeling it with the separation card for many of you, because we have the Six of Summer right above it, that it may not be that you are separated from someone during this time, but that the person with whom you had a separation or who you were separated from may be returning, is how it feels like to me. Like the separation is not an event that's necessarily occurring for many of you, but that is a separation that is being closed in terms of it was apart, now it's more together. Here, let me get one more card for you, Leo, from the Tarot of Sexual Magic. And it looks like with that Prince of Winter in the center here, that again, it could be an air sign who comes in very sort of abruptly, very sort of often kind of, I want to say aggressive, but it may not necessarily be that it's aggressive. It's just that maybe unexpected energy. So if it's not an individual coming in, it could just be a sudden turn of events. Unexpectedly, things change. But either way, Leo, it looks like with the Six of Summer and the Renewal card, you have been kind of doing quite a bit of reflecting, especially around love. But usually in all areas of your life with the Major Arcana energy. Oh, okay. Two of Wands. Very nice. A card of sort of getting to know one another. Spending time together, deepening your intimacy here. And we have this new love card under the deck. So it could be that for many of you Leos, new love is coming in. And again, it could be new love in that it's a renewal of someone, a connection with someone. But for this, it could also just be you with this sort of reflection, this judgment, renewal kind of energy. It's you falling back in love with yourself. Like, oh yeah, I actually... Maybe you've been through something and now you're kind of like, you've been reflecting on it and now you're like, actually, I am actually pretty awesome. Like, there's a lot of things I like about myself, and the things that I perhaps haven't really liked about myself, I'm willing and ready to change, and heal and grow from. Either way, this passion card, there's a tremendous amount of passion regarding love and romance for you during this time period, either with an individual or with your partner, or someone returning possibly from the past. There's the reason people tend to come back in is because, well, there's many reasons. One of the reasons could be that there has always been this underlying passion between the two of you. We also have the flirt energy. So remember that even though there's this passion that has been burning within you, it's also important not to get too heavy-handed with it. Like, this is very much about just keep it light. You don't want to race towards the finish line here. Keep things light. You're coming through a period where you've been doing quite a bit of heavy work here, and so keep it light. You may feel that you have more clarity now, right? With this energy, it may like suddenly hit you like a thunderbolt of like, oh my God, I know exactly what I want and who I want and how I want to get there. But remember that. The flirt energy is like, keep it light. Like, don't force it. You don't want to come on too strong and create this separation here, that could also be interpreted in that way. But it looks like you and someone have great passion, and but this is not necessarily a card of necessarily going to bed together yet. If you are dating or single, it's about developing that kind of intimacy, breaking bread together, having a meal together, sharing your thoughts, sharing your feelings, sharing your histories if you desire to do that. This kind of energy. And if you are partnered, it's just kind of a renewal of that, I think. With the renewal card here, the passion, the flirt, it's renewal of that. All right, let me get some additional cards on. We also have the Two of Autumn under the deck. Like kind of juggling, kind of keeping things playful as well, which goes with that flirt energy. But let me look at this. Let me look at the Six of Summer for you, Leo. And then I think I'll look at the Prince of Winter and then maybe the Separation card. And with that renewal card, I just want to say for some of you, it may be that you've really been thinking and contemplating generationally, like how things affect who you are now. Understanding that sometimes generational patterns, especially in love, take time to shift and to change. And so allow yourself that as well. I'm just really drawn to this sort of elder here, and how the bunny, the rabbit right there, is about things rapidly proliferating. Bunnies tend to give birth a lot. And I feel like there's this part of you that's been kind of understanding like that, like, oh, it's almost like I'm seeing a pattern that has been happening in my family of origin that's been going back generations, spanning generations, and it kind of just grew upon itself. And it's almost like you're thinking, and I want to shift that. And because this is going right towards the renewal, this kind of more sort of fast moving energy, and it's almost like the consciousness like hits you like that thunderbolt, like I mentioned. So not necessarily about a person, but more about your the way you are in love or in life, and you're kind of like, whoa, now I want to change it. Like, it's like boom. And it could be that you just go back in time and do some more reflecting as well here. But for many of you, it does. This card for me is often about someone returning. And also this idea of children as well. So the renewal card is, again, spanning generations. So for many of you Leos, I feel like you're doing that in a lot of different ways, which is, important to do. But always, as best you can, try to do it with a sense of compassion, knowing that you did the best you could. And in terms of the generational depth of whatever it is you're working on, knowing that everyone kind of did the best that they could based upon their own experiences, family circumstances, limitations, all of that. Okay, what am I looking at? I'm looking at the Six of Summer. Okay, the Unity card. Often indicating institutions, spiritual and religious upbringing, marriage, institution of marriage, but always reflecting change, a shift in some way, maybe from something less spiritual towards more religious, or the reverse, a marriage, maybe an ex coming back. I don't know. Let me get one more card. So it's about possible marriage. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So the Six of Summer, which for me, could indicate someone from the past returning. We have the Unity card. So let me just read it this way, because it's how I'm coming in first. It could be someone from the past who's kind of coming back in. It's about marriage for some of them. Maybe they were married. Maybe they are married. Maybe they're separated in their marriage. And the outcome is this Hermit energy, which goes with the separation as well. Like, not necessarily wanting to be with someone. You're doing this life renewal. There's this sort of energy coming in very quickly about that, consciousness coming in rapidly, an expansion of your understanding. Maybe you go back in time. Maybe you make a break from something. Maybe this person coming back in has made a break, and now they're kind of coming back in, but they're not quite available yet. Maybe they are still married, and that's why they're not available. But under that it's about the connection between the two of you, is how I feel about it. Okay. And for some of you, having based on this whole life review, this generational kind of aspect to this with the elders over here, the children over here, it could be that you are looking back in time, part of that renewal, and part of the consciousness that's coming in is about, this card always kind of encourages individuals to take a different approach. So if you are very conservative, to be a bit more liberal. If you're very liberal, to try and look at things from a more conservative way, that kind of energy. And so that just also may be what's playing out, and that causes you, this desire to look at things differently, causes you to want to kind of be alone so you can figure out exactly where you're at and on your kind of path, spiritual or otherwise, and you want to do this so you can understand who you are now as opposed to who you are, last year, let's say. And the separation, meaning that for some of you who are already coupled, that you may just be spending some time alone, even though you're with your partner. Physically, you may just feel a little bit of a separation during this time period, and you kind of want to get to know each other again here in the bedroom. It's going to play out differently for everybody. But okay, so all right. But either way, this connection here, if this is someone coming back in, it has to do with the bond between the two of you. Even if you weren't lovers in the past, it's about, you always had like a nice connection, right? Here. and they may be separated and not quite available yet. That's kind of how it feels to me. Okay, let me get a couple more cards on this. I'm going to get on this Prince of Winter. Okay, Prince of Winter. Okay, interesting. Okay. All right. So the Prince of Winter, this, as I mentioned, it could be an air sign, sun, moon, or rising coming in, or it just could be an energy, like fast-moving energy, things turning quickly, and it could be an invitation to something, a celebratory event coming up. It could also indicate that there was three individuals here associated with this individual, or this information, and it could have to do with a possible fire sign, sun, moon, or rising, Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, meaning you, Leo. And I feel like because it's showing up as here, the King of Spring, the ultimate kind of stance here, that whatever information this brings in, this says news worth celebrating, announcements such as weddings, graduation, or births, friends you cherish. Either way, I feel like it has you standing in your power in a lot of different ways, Leo. Like it's this information coming in quickly does not hurt you in any way. It creates a stronger sense of self for you. So that's really nice to see. Let me get 2 cards on this separation, and then I'm going to close out your reading, Leo. And that could be a fire sign, sun, moon, rising. I don't know if I said that. So if it's not you, Leo, it could be another individual here associated with this celebration. Separation about. It could also be that for those of you who are coupled or married, that news comes in that someone's pregnant. Maybe your spouse is pregnant. You already have children, and you're thinking about how that's going to affect the marriage, and it kind of causes you to kind of go within a little bit as well. Okay, so this separation is about working towards something, possibly with another person, possibly with another fire sign. So this separation, I don't think it's anything to necessarily worry about. It's just a little bit of it's going to play out so differently for so many people. As I've already said, it could be like just kind of an emotional separation a little bit, but either way, for some of you, as I mentioned before, it could be going back to someone returning after a separation, and now you're ready to kind of build your boat together here, and because you both still carry a torch for one another, is how I feel about that for many of you. Okay, so Leo, I'm going to get one more card for you, and I think I want to get it from the Fairies deck. And just get one more card for you, Leo, and then I'm going to close out your reading. So you have 3 major arcana cards here, especially around the 6 of Summer energy. So whatever that is for you, whether it's children, whether it's someone from the past coming back in, it's important that you honor whatever feelings come up about that, because and shift and wonder and consider whether or not you're looking at it you're being encouraged to look at it a bit differently, because part of this 6 of Summer energy is about remembering the past, remembering events differently in a better or worse light than how they really occurred. And with the Unity card, you're being encouraged to change the way you looked at things in the past, whether you're romanticizing or horribleizing. Kind of change your perspective on that, and that kind of causes you to kind of go within a little bit. Okay, one more message for Leo and the Magical Fairies. I like this deck because they're very direct and to the point. The fairies. Well, 2 cards came up. All right, we have walk away and perfect timing. Leave the unhealthy situation behind and enjoy the new doors that open as a result. And then perfect timing. This is the right time for you to move forward. Wow, so there's a big message for you there, Leo, that about movement, which has to do with this. And I think, it's and the separation. Yeah, so there is some movement here, whatever that means for you. But either way, it's important to honor these 2 energies, even if you decide not to take heed of the guidance you're being given. Know that these energies are here for your best and highest good. It's loving guidance being offered to you, and so consider that. Leave the unhealthy situation and enjoy the new doors that open as a result. This is the right time for you to move forward. And no wonder, you've been doing whenever we do a lot of review, we always make a change. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing the review, right? That means that, we're already preparing ourselves for the change by looking at things, doing this whole kind of review. So even if you haven't been consciously aware of it, there's been energetically, you've been putting out this energy of wanting to make a change, to move in some way, whatever that means for you.